I've got a very special episode for you today. I'm actually talking to one of the students from the Cloud Career Mentor program who was able to successfully transition from a career in sales, so no technical background whatsoever, to landing a cloud job as an infrastructure engineer. This is a really good episode as you get to listen to his journey from no technical experience to landing a job in the cloud industry. Remember, if you want to make the transition too, maybe you've been struggling to get your first job in the cloud industry and you want a structured plan with engaging learning materials and a supportive community that will help you to make that transition into the cloud industry, just go to cloudcareermentor.com, link is in the description, and get started today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Hello, David. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Fayomi.
First of all, I want to say congratulations on getting your cloud offer. I'm really excited to share your journey to the industry and how, Cloud Career Mentor helped you along the way. I know you put in a lot of work. But before we get into all of that, the first thing I want to know is, what job were you doing before you decided to get into the cloud industry?
I was in sales. I was doing business-to-business sales. I worked in a call center. Yeah, basically around that, yeah.
Yeah, so like nothing to do with technology at all. So basically starting from scratch.
At all, nothing to do with technology at all.
Yeah. So what made you decide to transition into the cloud industry?
The truth is, I've always been interested in the IT industry. Basically, it's something that I always looked at like, okay, it's something I felt like I could do. It's something I felt like I could take advantage of. I like hands-on. I like doing things. I like making things work. So basically, it's been in my mind. The truth is, in as much as I had that affinity to it, I was always very much scared that it was a very hard industry. It was difficult. It's not going to be easy. So those were one of the barriers or like obstacles that actually stopped me from actually going into it before now. But at the point, I just told myself, listen, you just have to try. You have to try and see how it goes.
That's the best way to go. You just have to start, really. And so now that you've sort of, you came to the realization that, I'm ready to start on your cloud journey. And with most people, it's never really a straightforward path. So what methods did you try before joining the Cloud Career Mentor program, and how effective were they? No need to name any organizations or anything, but just, let us know what you did before joining.
All right. The thing was, like I said, I always wanted to be in the IT industry, but I wouldn't specifically say I had a particular, shall I say, a particular department, whether it be cloud, whether it be software engineering. I didn't have a specific department or a specific role I wanted to take on. So I had to source information from friends. I spoke with some of my friends that were already in the IT industry. And most of them actually are not in the cloud. Most of them are software engineers. Some of them are back-end engineers, front-end engineers. They spoke highly of the cloud side of IT. They were like, if you intend to take a dive into the IT industry, we feel like you should try out the cloud computing. Right now, it's what everyone is talking about and something we feel like you can do. So yeah, that's it. But 3 months after I started, I wrote my first certification exam. That's for the cloud practitioner. So when I passed that, I was like, listen, try the solutions architect associate, because back then the mentality I had was, if I could pass those exams, I could get a job. If I could have those certificates, I will get a job. So I put in the work, studied. After like 2 weeks after I passed the practitioner exam, I decided to take the associate exam and I passed it. I was like, okay, let's see. Maybe I can start. Actually, after I passed it, I didn't apply for jobs because I felt like a lot of things I needed to know. So I kept attending classes with them, going for the evening sessions, the Saturdays, the Sunday sessions. It was actually good. So it got to a point where I was like, okay, let's see. I think to an extent I can start applying for jobs. So I started applying for jobs for solutions architect. But the truth is, it wasn't going anywhere, because for someone who had no idea about the industry before, like I said earlier, I felt like just having those certificates, because the truth was I had the knowledge. When it came to the cloud, like AWS for a beginner, I felt like I was okay. You understand, right? Yeah. Because like I said, I studied a lot. I started applying for jobs, but when you're applying, you're not getting anything in return. Like, it's not just the fact that you're not getting a job, but nothing. It's like nothing is happening. You're not getting any calls back, nothing. You're not getting interviews, nothing.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good place to transition. So, at this point, you've started, you want to get into the cloud, you started putting in some work to get into the cloud. What made you decide to sign up for our program?
The job application comes in. So, like I was saying, I was applying for jobs, a lot of jobs, but nothing was happening. I felt, okay, maybe I needed to know more. I didn't stop studying. I kept on studying even while I was applying for jobs. Kept on studying, kept on doing projects. I was looking for different projects to do. I registered for different projects online, but the truth was nothing was happening. So I was thinking, what the problem was, like what was happening. So I started going on YouTube, on LinkedIn, searching how persons got their first cloud jobs, and then I came across yours, and you explained that one of the biggest problem first timers in the cloud have is applying for the wrong jobs. Immediately you see that, it got me. I was like, okay, I think this would work. So I started listening more. And when you said if you're applying for the job of a solutions architect as a beginner, you're actually almost wasting your time. That was when I was like, okay, so if I'm not applying for the job of a solution architect, then what would I be doing then? Then you started explaining the stuff you have to know, the stuff you have to learn before you get your first cloud job, Linux, Terraform, Bash, and all of that. Initially, when you said it, to be sincere with you, for like a day or two, I gave up. I was like, it has taken me a lot to get where I am right now in terms of knowing the cloud and how it works. And now you're bringing in something totally out of it. You understand, right? Because what you're actually talking about is learning technologies that actually I haven't learned of them before. I haven't heard of them before. Like, they were new to me. Like Linux, for example. I didn't know where to start. Terraform. Right? But after like a day or two, I was like, okay, let me listen to this guy. Then in the video, I think you did a short free video or something, and you started explaining about it. And I was like, okay, I think this is something I can actually give a try. Yeah, so that's it. So the major reason that actually brought me here was the fact that I was researching, I was checking. I wanted to know what the problem was. You understand, right? Because I was applying for jobs. I got my CV done. I checked it on different ATS compliance website, and it was coming out well. What the problem was what I was actually looking for that actually brought me here. And
Yes. And I think this is why I set up Cloud Career Mentor, because there's so much misinformation out there on what you actually need to do to get a job, what jobs you should apply for, what skills you need to learn. And so I'm so glad you discovered me. And my aim with this is to actually get people before they've spent 6 months or a year just learning different things. Because how can we make it as easy as possible for you to learn what you need to know to achieve your goal, which is in your case, getting a cloud job. So I know you signed up. I believe you signed up towards the end of May,
yeah, end of May.
and you got in the program. Yeah.
End of
Let
May.
us know, when did you realize that the program was actually what you thought it would be, that it was actually working for you?
Okay. When I signed up, I because I was very much enthusiastic on wanting to get a job, you understand, right? So I just wanted to run through it, you understand, get the knowledge, run through it and get a job. But when I started, I think the first part you're talking about Linux and Bash, right? I was
Yes.
lost. I was lost. I got to a point, and the thing, it was like I was forcing it because I spent close to 6 to 7 hours just listening, watching, trying to understand. It was as if I was forcing it. Nothing was going in. I wasn't understanding anything. Then I was there for like 6 hours. So I told myself, nah. I just left it. I went to my couch. I lay down. I was looking at the ceiling. I was like, God, this is not gonna be easy. Because in the cloud, especially in AWS, one of the things that makes it easy is that you could do most of the job on the console, on the management console. You understand, right? So it kind of makes things easier. Doing stuff on the CLI, it wasn't actually my strength. Yeah, I could, but it wasn't my strength. And so I was trying to avoid it as much as possible. Then when you started talking about Linux and Bash, this is you can't run from it. So on that day, I left it. I was like, I don't think I can do this. I left it. I think that was like 5 p.m. in the evening. I left it. I was like, nah. I was just laying down. Then I think 12 p.m. 12 p.m. I was like, let me just try this stuff again. Let me just see if I can understand. But this time I was very reluctant. I was just sitting, looking at the video like this, like very reluctant. But then I started to get in. I think that was when that was when it clicked. I started to get in. Then I started to enjoy it. Understand? I started to enjoy it. Then some of the projects that you're doing at the end, I think that was where everything just clicked for me. Because when you started doing the project, I understood what you were doing and why you were doing it. So which means I could do it myself. So that was where everything clicked. And then I started going, and that was it. Entered Terraform, entered CD, entered Python, entered Lambda, and that was it.
Yes, I think that's such an amazing revelation because, a lot of cloud beginners who are getting into the cloud, maybe they've done some stuff on AWS, maybe they've got some certifications. And the reality is it seems easy when you do that kind of stuff and you can kind of avoid the things you don't like. But the reality of getting a job in the cloud is that you need to know the Linux command line because 90% of cloud workloads run on the Linux command line. So if you don't know this, then there's no job for you. So you need to know that. And and I think what happened with you is that you had a mindset shift because, initially you thought it'd be super easy, just run through them. But I think once you actually realize that, oh, actually, there's more to it, you were able to then really dive into the process and enjoy it. And I usually recommend people in the program to just watch the videos, follow along the first time. Don't worry too much about understanding everything because, it's such a different thing from most people's backgrounds. And so you go through it the first time, just soaking it in. And then the second time, that's when it really starts clicking for a lot of people because it's just something new. And I'm so glad that you persevered with it and it clicked because I try to make the videos as engaging as possible to make it sort of really easy to explain, really simple. You follow along with all the commands and over time you start getting used to how it works.
I think on that, one thing I learned from that my experience basically was that if you get pressured into it, it's gonna be difficult for you. Understand, right? Because what I did was when I came into the program, I was I want to say it wasn't like external pressure. I was putting the pressure on myself. I was thinking, okay, I've done a lot in AWS and now this one is coming in, so I just have to do it. I just have to learn it. So I was putting the pressure on myself. I just wanted to know it. Like it was being forceful. You understand, right? And I think that was the reason why I was trying to go in hard and I was pushed back. So what I did was just relax. And when I relaxed and having the mindset of wanting to learn, just learn, just enjoy it. That was when it clicked. Because initially, when I was trying to just learn it because I was being pressured, it wasn't working.
Yeah, and that's a really good point because I think as technical people or people who want to get into the industry, we think, oh, if I just run through the program, like I'll get it. It's like a checkbox exercise, like, yeah, I've done this. But I think you're right. When you actually decide to lean into it and just enjoy the process and be like, I want to learn. It's going to take however long it takes. There's no rush. There's no pressure. That's when you really learn
Uh,
a lot. So now thanks for pointing that out. I think that a lot of people find that helpful. So I think we said you signed up towards the end of
yeah,
May.
towards the end
I
of
looked
May.
on the
Yeah, towards the end
system.
of May.
Yeah, May 26th. When did you receive your first offer?
The first week of September.
First week of September. So just over 3 months, about 3 months it took from when you first started to put in the work and when you got your first offer. And what do you think made the difference between, where you were before applying for jobs, not really hearing back to actually starting to hear back from recruiters and then eventually get a job offer?
I would explain something to you. The thing is, yeah, before I came into the program, yeah, I was like I said, taught to become solutions architect, right? because that was how things were being done. Now, persons actually do. There's a possibility that you can actually, because there are persons over there who, after the program or after the course, end up getting jobs, right? But the reality of things was when I came across your video online where you're explaining that beginners applying for solution architect job, it's like you're almost wasting your time and stuff like you have to apply for the right jobs, like cloud engineer and all of that. You have to have all of these skills. I heard it from you. Yeah, you were the first person I actually heard it from. But after I heard it from you, what I did was I actually researched. I watched other persons' video and I heard it from other persons also as well. Persons who have been in the industry, persons who started just like me, who had no experience in the industry, who had nothing, and they started the land how it worked and everything. So they were saying the same thing like you were saying. So that was what actually caught my interest. Like, so if these persons are saying the same thing, which was actually making sense, I started going when if I'm to apply for the job of a solution architect, I go through the qualifications and everything. Yeah. The things that are listed there, like what you need to know or what your daily tasks would be, they are things that I can do. You understand? But you apply for these jobs and you don't get a call back. You understand? So it started to make sense that okay, actually the job of a solutions architect is actually for a senior. You understand, right? And if you go online and search for, let's say, your junior solution architect, it's difficult. You understand, right? If you see, let's say, 1,000
Yeah.
job listed, you will see like maybe five. You understand? It's not much. It's not much.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's not
much at
much.
all. It's like winning the lottery. Like, yeah, I'm sure some people win the
Exactly.
lottery, but the reality
It's
is that most
yeah,
people
it's
don't.
difficult.
Yeah, so I always try to help people put them in the path that gives them the most chance of getting that first job. Because the reality is, once you get your first job and you start building some experience, then more opportunities open up, more paths open up. But until you get that first job, it's really difficult to do anything. And oh yeah, I don't think we've mentioned what's the position you actually got the offer for?
Junior infrastructure engineer.
Junior infrastructure engineer. Congratulations. That's huge. So we only have a couple more questions left. What did you enjoy the most about the program, the Cloud Career Mentor program?
I want to say it was close to reality. You understand, right? Because if I go online and search for the job of a cloud engineer, in fact, do you know what happened here that I noticed? If I go online and search for the job of a solution architect, yeah, it brings out, let's say, 100 job listed, yeah. Maybe the first 20 would be solutions architect. But after that, it starts giving you just like cloud engineer, infrastructure engineer, site reliability engineer. When I looked at the cloud engineer jobs and I was looking and I was going through the qualifications and I was going through your day-to-day activities, it was matching up to what I was doing in the program and it was making sense. And one of the things that excited me so much was when I had to troubleshoot. You understand, right? When I had to troubleshoot, because there are times where after going through the through a particular course or a particular lesson, I want to do the project myself. You understand, right? So after doing the project, I see it's not working. Like I'm not getting the end product or what I'm supposed to get at the end. Then I have to troubleshoot, which is something was wrong. You understand, right? And it takes me hours. At times it takes me days, 2 days, 3 days. It's stressful. At the end of the day, when I get the reason and I do it, it's so satisfying, so satisfying. It feels good. Those are one of the experiences I had that actually made me enjoy myself.
No, I think that's great because troubleshooting is such a big part of like real world scenarios because most times in the real world, the answers aren't easy. You have to figure them out. You have to troubleshoot. And that's what I really liked about your approach to the program. Like you always got stuck in, you always tried to figure it out, which is the way to go. So no, thanks for that. And I think as well with you, I remember when you joined the monthly group coaching calls, you always had good questions and you were always engaged. And I find the people who are successful are those who are always engaged. They always put in the work because the materials are there. But, at the end of the day, you have to put in that work and you have to learn that. And I think you did a really good job learning that. So what would you say to someone who's maybe, they want to get into the cloud industry? They've been looking at the Cloud Career Mentor and they're on the fence. Like, would you recommend the program and
100%.
why?
100%. If you're passionate, that's really what you want, then it shouldn't be something you contemplate about because I wouldn't say it's the only way, but it works. You understand, right? It does work. You understand? You just have to give it your time. The courses on the Cloud Career program, they are stuff that you're actually going to be needing in real life because the particular interview I had for this job, what they're asking were actually things that I had learned from the program. If I have someone who wants, I'll tell you, listen, don't even waste time. Because at the end of the day, trust me, you would not regret it. You would actually be very, very grateful.
Thanks for the kind words. And I think it's good to know because I could say it, but it's always better for someone who's actually been through the program, who's got the results. Because when I set this up, I wanted to make sure it was a really valuable resource based on real world experiences. So, I'm glad you're able to achieve your goals, David. I
Thank you
wish you
very
the
much for
best of
it.
luck, and maybe we'll
Thank
catch
you
up in
very
a
much, man.
year, see how you've been doing. I'm really excited
Thank
to
you
see
very
how
much,
you
man.
progress. And yeah, if you're listening at home and you want to join the program, just go to cloudcareermentor.com. Links is in the descriptions and show notes. And yeah, we'll see you
Thank
in
you
the
very
next
much, man.
one.
Thank you.